Hello, everybody, and welcome to On the Real Sessions. This is a talk show segment that we're doing this week called The Show Must Go Online, where we're going to review some of the clips of past shows that we've done here so far. We hope that you tune in and enjoy some of these previous clips of the incredible artists that we've featured throughout the history of this show. As you know, we are in season two of On the Real live sessions, and we have just begun. We have some incredible artists coming up. But before I get started, I want to give a shout out to Coburn's Exclusive out of Nashville as for being a sponsor, and then all of our Patreons who continuously support us every week and help this show to go on. Let me introduce my good friend, Mr. Greg Sword, who's joining me today, and we're going to just kind of have a dialogue. Greg has been helping me with this whole production, doing all the graphics, doing all the social media with the team here. We are live here at the warehouse, but why don't you go ahead and say hello to everybody?
Ah, just saw myself on camera for the first time. Hey everybody, my name is Greg. Some of you might know me as Celestial Viking. I've been working with Marcus now for a couple years. We started the show it started about a year ago.
Yeah, a year ago.
You just posted a thing the other day showing about a year ago we started doing these live streams and everything, and just a little brief history of even this particular segment here. With The Show Must Go Online. We actually did a couple episodes at the very beginning, but due to restrictions from the pandemic and everything like that, we wound up losing the spot where we were filming it at, and really focused on building the production and the flow and reaching out to other artists and just moving it to where it is now. And it's been a crazy year, man.
And man, it's absolutely been crazy. And, we started it and out of a knee-jerk reaction to going in, and we built out a studio in my garage, which is a lot of people didn't know this, but built out a studio, and you'll see some clips of it. We have some clips from previous shows in the season one, and because of COVID, I couldn't do anything else with any other artists, and so what we did is we ended up making shows of me doing more of like live requests, and me talking to the camera and talking to my fan base, and then once everything started opening back up, we decided to join with the warehouse here in Columbia, South Carolina, which, man, really just gave the show some wings, to be honest. Really just took it to a whole nother level, and you'll see the progression throughout the show tonight. But, we've been really trying to support some local artists, regional acts, and shedding light on their incredible talent. One change that we made is everything that you hear on the show, we don't do any covers anymore. It's all original content. So everything you're hearing is being written by the artist themselves, or they're playing a song by a friend of theirs. It's just unheard underground songs, which is
I think that's an important focus. That's why we did it, because like you've even got some original stuff that you're working on.
Yep.
And the first episode this season was all you doing original stuff, which was I think for even some of your fan base was really nice to see for them. We definitely got to give a shout out to some of the folks that helped us start this at the very beginning.
That's right.
I definitely want to thank like Suzette and
Yeah.
her mom and those folks, because like a year ago when we started doing this, those were the folks that really just kind of they lashed on and said, yes, we'll do whatever we need, and they're amazing fans and supporters and
That's right.
everything. So
I want to give a shout out to Doyle McBride as well. Doyle
yes.
McBride, he really helped, and we've had a lot of help along the way to
Nikki
make
Metz,
this. Yeah, and at the Tipsy Toad, and so it's been a fun process. We also want to kind of shed light on our Patreon for a second. Our Patreon, you can support us by as little as $5 a month, which allows us to continue doing these shows. Everything helps. I think we have packages all the way up through what, 25, 50?
$25, yeah,
Yeah.
no, and then we're working on some additional stuff because we're trying to get some exclusive content for those folks, but we've got other things in the works with that as well, to where we can give the additional benefit for those that support at the higher level. And then of course we're also looking for additional sponsors. We've got a few folks in the
That's right.
work and everything. So obviously right now we got Coburn Exclusive, and we really appreciate all the support that they've given so far. But we're constantly looking for more folks and everything like that to help support local music scene here, because that's a lot of what we're doing.
That's right.
Right now.
Yeah.
It's about getting these guys in here who I mean, they get out there and they play these shows. Some of them, some of them have taken the time and made productions and gotten EPs and stuff released, which we'll add every single one of these folks that we're going to show you these clips from over the last few episodes. We'll have all the links to the previous videos as well as any of the particular songs that they're available on Spotify or iTunes. We'll make sure those links are in there. But there's a couple guys like Brandon last week.
Yeah, Brandon wow.
doesn't even have a recording yet,
Yeah.
but now he's got at least this online where
That's
he
right.
can share it and stuff like that.
And we took last week's production to a whole nother level too by having David Smith, who's a local artist,
Yeah.
and he was drawing Brandon while he was on, and we ended up auctioning off that piece of art. And honestly, if you can't afford $5 a month, you can do as little as just sharing our page, liking our page, go on to our
Absolutely.
YouTube channel, which is On the Marc Studio, give us a subscribe, and that's how we can make sure that this show must go on. So we appreciate y'all, and but we're gonna get to our first clip of the night. This was in the old studio, and some good friends of ours, Greg, he actually introduced me. The clip that you're going to see is the very first time I met this amazing couple, which is Tyler and Joelle. Their official band name is Congaree Bluff. They actually launched that name on our show.
Yeah,
that night.
no,
That's
that was
right.
kind of cool. No, they even reached out and I helped do their logo and everything for
Yeah.
their new thing. And that was kind of cool. I actually didn't expect that. I think they kind of dropped it on us like last minute that they were going to do it on our show, which was really cool. And as a matter of fact, the song that we're going to show you is one that they didn't even add to their list. And I think I don't know if you hear it in this particular clip or not, but you even say, hey, you got a request for this song. And they were like, I'm glad somebody requested it, which I was the one that requested that song because I was like, that's a killer song. Because Tyler came out to one of the events that I do, and he played that song. And I was like, oh, I love that tune, man.
And as we go throughout the night and we introduce you to some of these artists that you may have missed these live streams, make sure you go on their page, you like their page, support them. A lot of these artists play locally. So Congaree Bluff, they play locally around the lake, and in Columbia, you can catch them. Go and check out their Facebook page. But we're going to go ahead and cut to that clip, and this song is called "Lose This Time."
I said, guys, I want to write a song that's like a love song in a minor key, but I want to feel like it's creeping. It's like it's creeping in on you, like kudzu vines. And I think Trey might have known what that was, but I think Mick didn't know what that was. He's like, what is that? And so I explained. He's from
the
New
north.
York.
They
so
don't know
I
yet.
don't think he knew what that was. But it's okay, because he
I hope
figured
they
it
never
out,
do.
and he helped me write a killer song that sounds like kudzu vines creeping up. But the name of the song actually is called Lose This Time.
Yes.
Yeah, so here we go. I'm glad someone requested it. That's great.
Was it really not on your list?
Soul shaking worries about the ghosts that are in my past. I keep a graveyard of a love that didn't last. My heart can't be won, the invasion's begun. You press against the gates. This feeling I'm feeling, I feel it taking over, growing like a weed, creeping like a vine. Your loving, I need it. My walls have been defeated, and I think I wanna lose this time. No holding back the wave when you come flooding in. Defense is useless with your kiss upon my skin. You sit on my throne,
Can't believe that wasn't on the list already.
know, right?
Man, would you believe that was in my garage?
No, well, I would. I was there, so
I mean, like,
I know
seriously,
what
though.
that set looks like without all the drapes and the other things there. So I know exactly what that looks like.
I could, when you're, I'm sitting here watching it back, and I'm like, wow, even as like in our first season, what it like, man, we still did a good job.
Yeah,
Like,
no, absolutely, no. It's been kind of cool. Like even from like. God, we would never. I don't think we'd ever really show this one on one of them. But that first episode, if we had like a decent clip
Yeah.
of the first episode you did with Noel and
oh yeah, I remember
Colton
that.
Beasley
Yeah.
and stuff like
Rodney
that.
was in there too. Yeah, Rodney
yeah.
and Perrin and T.J. McKee.
Yeah.
and,
Oh man, that was rough because I mean we were running straight off the iPhones and it was all over the place, man. Like we were dropping left and right, but. Man, again, this is where you got to give it up to the fans and the supporters and stuff like that because everybody that like when we did that one, it was a pay to watch thing and everybody was just on board. They didn't care because at that point we were like a month into the pandemic and everybody's like, give me whatever. I don't even care if it's breaking up or dropping and stuff like that. We definitely learned.
It was rough though, but I mean, thank God that we've had enough and sponsorship to buy all the cameras that we need to buy and also just so you guys know we are watching the comments live, so if you do have any questions about the production that we're doing or anything like that, we would love to answer them on the show tonight. So we're doing this all the way to 9 p.m. We got 5 more clips for you, so stay in there with us, and we're going to be talking about these artists, and I'm going to go ahead and segue into this next artist, which he came in with his trio and did a show at my old studio garage. And anyways, I met Reggie Sullivan about, I would say, 7 years ago now, and I was working down in Key West full-time as a drummer. I was actually 2 weeks in to being a drummer full-time. And ever since then, Reggie and I have been friends, and I have nothing but positive things to say about Reggie and his talent. He's absolutely incredible. Seriously, a cornerstone here in the Columbia scene, South Carolina scene. He plays all the way around. He plays a lot at Hall's Chop House.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I believe he has a show coming up this weekend at the Senate, from what I saw. Yeah, I saw on his schedule. But we have this clip coming up of him in the studio doing his song called Real Good Lovin' with Evans McGill on guitar and Jeff Shackley on drums. But we're going to go ahead and, unless you got something.
Yeah, no, I was going to say Evans McGill. That's my twin brother. So, as a matter of fact, we lived together for about a year. We were roommates for a while. So
it
that
makes
was,
sense that you'd be twins.
Yeah, no. He's one of the, 5 different people in the music scene here that everybody thinks that I am. I get Evans, I get Jeff Pitts, and all those other people, too. So, if they've got a beard, glasses, and long hair, then I get, oh, you're that guy from that band, and I'm like,
well,
no.
and actually something cool. Reggie, when he called me a day before we shot this, and he's like, "Man, I need some video because they were doing the Real Hot New Year's." Is that what it's called?
Famously Hot New Year's.
Famously Hot New Year's here
yes.
in Columbia, but they normally do it live, but they did it live on a local TV station, and so he came in the next day, and the clip that you're going to see, you can actually find on YouTube under our YouTube channel of Real Good Lovin'. I went and did some post-editing, so the quality is going to be a little bit better because everything else you're seeing is a live stream. So this is actually a post-edit that I went in and mixed the audio and edited together all the video shots. So we're going to go ahead and cut to this. This is Real Good Lovin' by Reggie Sullivan Trio.
the line. Hey, 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 yeah. What I need, see what I want, when I got to have it, darling. Oh, what I need is some real good love, and I got to have it. Said I really want it. Oh, I really need it. Don't try to tease me. I got to have it. Said I really want it. Oh, I really need it. Don't try to tease me. What I need, what I want, when I got to have it, darling. Oh, what I need is some real good loving. Come on. Put some real good loving, y'all.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Man,
He's such a
that-
dynamic performer, man.
All of them, man. Like Jeff Evans, just they're just insane. It's a beautiful thing, absolutely beautiful. And like I remember, like right before the pandemic happened, before we started all this and everything, I was out at 2 of the events back to back that they did. One was at Steel Hands, and the other was at the Tin Roof for their St. Practice Day or whatever it was. And I took some photos, and I went through every single photo that I took of Reggie. That man does not take a bad picture. Every picture was
He's got
on
that baby
point.
face,
No,
man.
I mean, like, listen, I'll take 1,000 pictures of events that we're at and that we're doing when we're out, and I'll go through and like, that didn't turn out well, that didn't turn out well, that didn't turn out well. No, I took 30 or 40 pictures of Reggie, and every single one of them right on point.
I wish I had that, man. Every photo that's taken of me is like I'm always have like this mean face. You know what I mean? Like every single time. It's so hard to find a good photo of me singing and performing. I need to learn to smile more on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
But-
the guy that takes a lot of your photos when you're singing and performing, I will say yes.
Yeah, no, but that clip that you just saw, and if you're just now tuning in, make sure you go back and watch, from the start of this show once we get done of these clips. But that was Real Good Lovin' by Reggie Sullivan Band, dynamic trio here in Columbia, South Carolina. They also play with Jamichael Peoples and a lot of different artists around here. So make sure you give them a follow. It's definitely worth going and seeing them live.
Oh,
They're just-
yeah, no question.
Yeah, no, honestly, if I could, grow up to be any type like performer, it'd be Reggie Sullivan.
Sullivan, yeah.
I mean, straight up. But
Yeah.
and now flash forward, you saw 2 clips of what we did in the garage, right? And so that was. We ran pipe and drape and built a drum riser and did all these different things to kind of pretty up the garage. But now fast forward to season 2, we're going to show you a clip here in a couple minutes of actually our last week's show with Brandon Lowther, which he just blew my mind, man. A lot of these guys, because I'm gigging every week, I don't get to see them live. And man, he just blew me away with his writing, his vocals, his guitar skill. I mean, just absolutely incredible. And I mean,
we've got a couple of those guys in the clips that are going to be showing too, and they all kind of roll around with the same kind of folks and crew and everything like that. And you'll see it, but like, man, I like writing music,
Yeah.
and when I first heard these guys do their stuff, I was just like blown away, man. Their lyricism is just beautiful. Their instrumentals on it, the finger picking styles as well is just
yes.
out of this world,
Yeah.
man. Like they make those strings work.
Well, another one that blew me away was the dubber.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
and,
yeah. No. Oh, my
unfortunately, we have only so much time tonight, and we've had a lot of acts. And make sure you go onto our YouTube,
Please.
which is On the Marc Studio, and see some of the previous live streams we've done. These artists are absolutely incredible. I actually want to hear how you met Brandon.
So, man, I gotta say, I think Brandon goes all the way back to the first time I met him, and whether he remembers me from then or not was maybe about, oh God, how long has it been now? 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a little less, probably at Foxfield, over off Rosewood, because that was like when I first started working with the musicians and stuff like that, and the guys that I was working with. That was one of the spots that a lot of people said, oh, you need to get over to Foxfield because they do an open mic over there, and there's some amazing folks. And I met some absolutely incredible entertainers over there. Mackenzie Butler, Brandon Lowther, Kelly McLaughlin. I just ran into her the other day, so I'm going to be reaching out to her. I already talked to her about getting on with Kelly and Brody, and that's a post-timey string band. Those guys are fantastic in that same kind of wheelhouse as that style, that Americana bluegrass kind of stuff. But I mean, even with their focus being in one area, they're all over the place. But I met Brandon there, and then we just when I was working at doing the open mic over at the White Mule, he came out, and I've had him as a feature as well over at my Sunday open mic over at Uncle Fester's. So and I've heard him and all these guys, and I'm always like, come out, because and that's really, I'm just gonna be honest, it's fanboyish for me.
He's actually Brandon's chiming in right now on the live stream. What's up, brother?
It was great times, man. No, listen, I'm not gonna lie, it's a straight fanboy move when I can get somebody like Chris Compton or Brandon Lowther to come out and be a feature at one of my open mics. Like, I love it, man. I love their writing style. I love the way they sound. I love the way they play that guitar. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a alt rock kid, growing up. So I didn't go as much into the Americana style and the bluegrass and stuff like that until much later in life. And it's really cool to hear these songs and the stories behind them. I think as I got older, you realize you've got those similar kind of stories that you can relate to it. When you're younger, you don't feel it as much,
Well, the cool thing, man, as even season 2 has been going on, we've been progressing, and like I mentioned, we had David Smith doing artwork, but a couple episodes in, I think we're on episode 4, we decided to do a post-show interview. I wish we would have thought of that prior to those.
Yeah, we started with Jeff, so that was, you're right, that would have been.
And so I really enjoyed sitting down and talking with these artists, but last week, getting to know Brandon and just how he approaches music, and he's a new father of Arlo, who's going to be 1 soon or is turning 1, which kind of brings us into this clip.
The song,
he wrote the song, and Brandon, you can tell me if I'm wrong since you're chiming in here, but I believe you wrote it for your son since the clip is
it's called Arlo.
Arlo.
He did. He talks about it. It is about his son and everything, and I love the way it came off, and even the way he explains it at the end, and that's why I picked it, because I think you and I both, as fathers of 2 each, both boys, man, you feel that in that song. You could just take out the name and throw one of your sons in there, and you're like, I get it. I'm with you.
Well, and also, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that if you're tuning in, make sure you can ask questions. We'd love to answer them live if you want to know any more about the artists that we're showing you. But this next artist, we've mentioned him multiple times already, but his name's Brandon Lowther, here out of Columbia, South Carolina. He doesn't have any current tracks online, but he's going to be going into the studio this year. So make sure you go on Facebook and Instagram, Brandon Lowther. His name's on the clip, so make sure you look him up, give him a follow, go see him at a live show. But this next clip by Brandon Lowther is called Arlo. Enjoy.
Father, I guess you'd say my son, he's about to turn one on the 17th of this month. And best decision I'd ever made, I'll say that. Anyway, this song's for him. It's kind of a lullaby. It's called Arlo. Creatively, that's his name. So let's see if we can get this right here. The captain sailing the raging seas. At least that's what I would tell myself. I laid him down to sleep. Or maybe he's been riding across the dusty plain. Tonight he is a cowboy asleep out on the range. Arlo, love you so, and I just wanted everyone to know I love you so, and I just wanted everyone to know. That tries to like mimic, the calm and the quick. Nap time is nap time, but boy, when he wakes up, it's picking time. He gets on it. So let's see here.
Man, I've always been envious of guys who can use a thumb pick. I was talking to Brandon about that in the interview or before the interview. I can't remember at this point, but he was just getting used to using a thumb pick, and I've tried to use one over the years because I do a lot of finger picking with my guitar, and man, I just can't. It just feels way different, and I'd have to, we were also talking about his finger picking style, and where he's moving his thumb back and forth between the low strings, and just telling me like one of his big influences like that. You have to do that for like 10 years, man, to do it without even thinking about it. And just listening to him pick just then was like, wow, man. And what a beautiful song, brother. Like, seriously, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have any problem finger picking like that at all. I mean, it sounds like garbage when I do it, but I have no problem just throwing my thumb across it.
I guess the problem is when you want to make it musical. Want to make it musical. And right now, big shout out to Mr. Doug Baker, who's joined our stream, which is a huge supporter of the local scene, hires for major corporate events, private parties, weddings, and thank you for what you do, brother. We appreciate you. And but I really can't say enough about Brandon's performance last week.
Oh man, listen, I was this week I was over at Uncle Fester's building those stages and stuff that we put in there, and like as I'm there just drilling stuff, I plugged it in because I knew we needed to pick these songs and stuff for this week. I plugged in Brandon's show because I always pull one song to put on Instagram as well, which, make sure you guys go and check us out on Instagram, Facebook, follow us there. But I always go through and I pick one song so that next day, Tuesday, I got into to Fester's and I'm there all by myself building this stuff, and I plug it in on YouTube and just blast it, and I just watch just listen to the entire show. And that's when I heard Arlo, and I'm like, that's the one, yeah. Because I always do that. I go back and I have to listen, because when you're sitting here behind the cameras like Rodney is right now, sometimes you kind of lose the focus on the music and stuff like that. So it's always really cool to kind of sit back normally on the drive. Well, before we came to the warehouse, on the drive home, yeah, I could listen to almost the entire show. But now where it's like I'm, 5 minutes down the road, I don't get a chance to do it. So
well, and I actually wanted to comment on, so when we started season 2, before that, I was doing all the switching and the audio and everything, and so being here in the warehouse has allowed me to take more of a director's role, which has been nice. Having Matt Buck behind the sound and Zach behind the lights, and then our good friend, all the video production the switching that you're seeing in these clips. That last clip has been by Mr. Rodney Foster Jr., who's joined our team. Absolutely incredible. You're gonna actually see him next week live playing bass on the stream Monday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So make sure you tune in for that. So I wanted to give a shout out to him. And we're just so happy with the productions that's going on here. I don't know if you noticed just pure the lighting and the stage and the sound is just leaps and bounds better than what I was doing in the garage.
Especially the sound.
Especially the sound. Yeah, come on, Matt.
I didn't know if that was more of a dig at you or more of a plus for Matt. I'm not sure which
both
that
at
was.
The same time. It was a plus negative.
Well, I mean, like, it's a big difference, and it's not that what you were doing was bad. It's just that Matt is an incredible engineer. I worked with him over at the Mule and everything, and like got to know him there, and just He's got a great personality. I love that dude, man. Like,
I'm still waiting for the tuba.
Yeah, still waiting on that
So
tuba.
he said he's going to warm up the tuba for the show tonight, but I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. But we're gonna move on to our fourth clip of the night. This gentleman, the clip that we chose, when he started this guitar riff, it just floored me. I was actually back in the sound booth with Matt. We were checking on the audio. When I say check, I would just go around and go, Matt, you good? He's like, of course I'm good. Why are you back in my sound booth, kind of thing. but once he started playing it, it literally just drew our attention away from whatever we were talking about in that moment and floored me. But this next artist coming up in this clip, Mr. Jeff Gregory, he was originally of the Run Out, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's done. I mean, he's still that is his band. He's got the Run Out, and he plays with a lot of other folks. All these guys do too, and that's the incredible thing. Even going back to Brandon, we didn't mention Slim Pickens, the Dirty Gondolas. He plays with Post Timey and other folks and stuff like that. Just all these incredible bands across Columbia, and they all kind of collaborate and work together and everything. Jeff's no exception to that. I mean, he's got the Run Out, but he plays with all these guys and everything too, and just. You see the influence from each of them kind of lapping over to themselves,
Yeah.
but the Run Out is his main band right now as far as I know. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's also got his own music on iTunes and everything like that, which is you can actually find this song on iTunes. So if you don't have it on iTunes and you hear it now, you're gonna want to go to iTunes or Spotify or whatever your preferred streaming platform is and add that to your playlist because. I knew exactly which one you were talking about when you said it to him because we couldn't remember the name at that moment. But like I had picked out the intro for the 5-minute lead-in at the beginning of the show, and I was like, I know what song he's talking about.
Well, and just like I said, being exposed to these artists on a weekly basis that I don't even get time to listen to.
Yeah.
They're absolutely incredible, and then just kind of sitting back and watching them in their element has been awesome. And please allow us to continue to do this by joining us on Patreon. So it's patreon.com/onthemarkstudio. You can become a patron for as little as $5 a month. And if you can't do that because we know times are tough, make sure that you at least like and share our pages, our social media. We have an Instagram, we have a Facebook, but most importantly, go to YouTube and subscribe to us. When we do these live streams, we stream to Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. We do it through a lot of different mediums, but YouTube seems to have like the best video quality.
Yeah,
from what I've seen.
absolutely. best video and audio quality all the way around for that one right there.
So please help support this show. Go on there, like us on all social media, and consider becoming a sponsor for as little as $5 a month. But this next clip by Jeff Gregory it has to be my favorite song, absolutely my favorite song, and I'll let you introduce it.
Yeah, so this next one, again, I don't think it needs any more introduction. Here's Currency by Jeff Gregory.
Man, I hope the sound's coming to you well wherever you're at, and especially with a tune like that, man. Hope you got something you can rest your mind in. This pattern of thought and pattern of fall, and where they break off is where we go wrong. If something is human and we choose to speak it out loud, the next spell we take is closer to working it out. There's love in the arms of someone like you. There's barking dogs, setting suns, rising red moons. When the bottom line fades so far out of view, what currency matters to you? the life that passes by you. So cast down your nets and see what the haul will bring in. And when the going gets rough, let it out and bring it back in. There's hope in the future for when we'll shed time. There's laughter and music and stars that align. And the bottom line keeps us distracted and blind. What currency eases your mind? Oh, oh, your mind. Oh. There's love in the arms of someone like you. There's brow sweat and birdsong on the cliffside in June. When the bottom line fades so far out of view, what currency matters to you? Right, I'm gonna give it a tune real quick and have a drink.
Man, I love that tune. That is just a killer song. There's like such an urgency with the beginning of it. It really feels like there's two separate songs, but they work really well together. I just absolutely love that writing style and everything he's got going on.
The
with
guitar
that.
work,
Yeah.
man. That's one thing I really have enjoyed about our shows is every single artist that we brought on. I want to give a shout out to Ryan Atkinson because
Of
he's
course.
another one that we don't have a clip of tonight because we only have a short period of time. But Ryan Atkinson just blew me away. Make sure you go and check that clip out on YouTube. I mean, he did some really cool looping stuff. Got on the drums at the end, which was awesome.
That's about the only reason that I didn't include his. I really wanted to, but like I think each of his songs wound up being about like 10 minutes long, so that would have taken up a good chunk of his.
I know. He was doing like
It was wild.
psychedelic rock.
Yeah,
kind
no,
of
it was
thing.
wild. It was
awesome.
wild watching him build all that stuff and do it. It was a killer show. Yeah, no, we had. That was a fun night. That was a fun night to see that kind of come to fruition and watch it all play out and everything. But yeah, no, man, we've had some amazing artists so far. We got some other great artists coming up. Again, you already mentioned Rodney's going to be out here next week with Cat Gallan, Zach Bingham, Brendan Bull, with Stank Face, which they're still. I think you guys are still in your infancy as far as the band is concerned, but like Cat, all these guys have been a part of the music scene for a long time and play with a couple different folks. If you've ever heard of Bella Vita, that was definitely one of the groups that Cat was with, and of course Rodney is every Thursday night you can catch him over at Shay's Lounge,
Yeah.
which you just did a show over there the other night. That was
a killer show.
God, that was
That was
cool,
a
man.
killer
That was a
show.
good night. And then Brendan and all these other guys that are with this crew, these are some of the most talented musicians in Columbia.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched these guys perform, and it blows you away every single time.
Yeah.
And then, of course, after that, we've got Colton Beasley, who's actually who's going to be out here with his band Osara, because again, we're going more towards that original side. So it'll be a heavier night for sure.
Yeah,
That'll
yeah.
be fun. So that's we're going to have Osara out here as well. And then we've got Noel Lindler and the Bankwalkers. We're going
That's
to bring
right.
them out. And then we've got a few others. And I think closing out May, I've got Tyler Watson is starting to do his solo thing right now. He just released a single, just dropped it. He's going to be out here on the 31st. That's another one that I can't wait for you to see and hear. He's another just incredible voice and guitar player and everything. But of course, speaking of the artists that we have coming up, we want to keep this going. So if you guys have any suggestions or thoughts as far as like other artists or musicians or bands that might be interested in this, shoot us their names, shoot us their information. We'll reach out to them. You never know. We've got an entire year to go, so we've got more folks coming down the pipe. I got a few other folks on the hook. We're going to reach out to some folks that even go beyond the South Carolina route and everything. Some of the influences that you see even in some of the songs that you do.
That's right.
Which we're gonna play a clip from the first episode of this season of one of those songs from that you were part of the writing process with, or
No, I
no?
wasn't, but but I've written songs with that writer. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like we're gonna play that song which you just recorded in over at Kaplow Studio as well. But
with Corey Plow.
yeah, man, Corey. Oh God, man, he's an amazing
He's a mastermind.
Yes, absolutely incredible.
There's I've been doing a lot of recording, in Nashville, Orlando, and not to discredit any of the other engineers that I've worked with, they're incredible. Corey blew my mind, absolutely blew my mind just watching him work behind the console. What a pleasure to have somebody like that locally here. I mean, it just, I haven't been to any other studios around here, so not to, like I said, discredit anybody else, but my experience with, having Rodney and Roderick Johnson and TJ and Jim Graddick in the studio, and then having such a professional behind the board really just took the session to a whole nother level, which was awesome.
Absolutely. I remember the first time I went into his studio space. I went out there with Dave Britt, as a matter of fact, who was recording, working on one of his singles, and even being a novice in the music scene and watching him work that board and like just click, 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 click. I'm like, man. It's like watching one of those guys on like one of those video games doing like a speed run or something like that.
Yeah.
But it even with that like speed, there's just such accuracy and skill. I mean, he's just an incredible craftsman. I mean, it's like almost like watching the art happen.
Yes.
In real life, in real time.
It is an art form.
It is an art form
It
in
is
and of
an art
itself.
form.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
There's not many guys that can do that.
So that being said, we started with Jeff as far as the question and answer segment. I want to do a brief one at least, a little interview for you since you started off the season and everything like that. Obviously, I know all the history and everything like that, but I don't think all the folks that are watching, there's definitely some new folks that we've had thanks to all these incredible musicians that are tuning in. Tell us a little about your background, where you're from, what got you started in the music, so on and so forth.
So, I've been playing drums really kind of right out the gate. I got video on VHS of me playing drums on pots and pans. My dad was a drummer. My uncle was a drummer. Very established musicians in the scenes, and just being able to grow up around professionals really gave me a good foothold into where I'm at in my career now, which I definitely have a lot more growing room to do, but it's definitely gave me a leg up and helped me kind of aim my business in the music industry in the correct ways. I really started my professional music career, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, down in Key West, and while I was down there, I ended up one night with a guitar in my hand. I was playing drums. I wasn't supposed to be singing at all, and something happened to where I ended up in the front with a guitar and singing. I think I did like 3 songs, and a friend of mine came up to me and was like, "Hey, have you considered singing, for a living?" I'm like, "No, not at all. If I did, I wouldn't be playing drums." He's like, "Well, you could make 3 times what you're making now." I'm like, game on. So I went back to Orlando a couple weeks later and learned about 150 songs, and then started going around and selling my product to different venues. And I started out with 5 gigs a month, and then 10 gigs a month, and then within about 4 months I had about 22 gigs a month. That was kind of my goal. And then by the end of the year, I was running around 40 gigs a month. And then I was like, oh my God, I need to figure out how I can make more money and play less. So I I started exploring the avenues of weddings and corporate functions to kind of bring up the revenue so I wasn't straining my voice as much. And then a couple years into my career, I just decided to cut my very first album, which was pieced together. And then that's exactly what it was. It was very much pieced together. I ended up in Nashville with a producer named Bobby Blazier, and we started talking about this process, and ended up in the studio a couple weeks later in November and cut 5 tracks on the album. And went back down, and they started editing some things, and then I came back up in March to do vocals. And anyways, the first cut of Shake the Room was sent across my desk in about early April. And I wasn't very settled on it. I wanted it to go a different direction. So I decided to start from scratch. And I still kept a lot of the takes, but then I started working with an engineer in Orlando, which his name was Brandon. And Brandon, he's another engineer that's absolutely incredible. And we don't have enough time here to go through everything, but just the process of going through my album and the confirmations that I should be doing this, because I had a lot of self-doubt going through the whole process, because I was only very early on in my career, considering, I literally just started singing, and a lot of self-doubt. But going into the studio, I spent 3 months every single day in the studio with Brandon, creating this album, Piece Together, which you can find on iTunes. Please purchase it on iTunes. If you don't have the money, I don't mind you streaming on Spotify. More streams help, but please go check it out. A lot of great gems in there. But now, flash forward to being in Colombia now for 2 years, I decided to approach the next couple tracks that I'm going to be doing in a different way. And we went into the studio that day at Kaplow Studio, and the guys hadn't heard this song before. And I wanted them to essentially experience the song and then just record it. My process behind that was to have a complete organic approach to the song, in the intention of capturing lightning in a jar. Essentially, there's very few moments on stage where magic happens, where it's unexplainable. We all hit this stride together as musicians, and that's essentially what I was trying to capture in this song. The song that you're going to hear is called Party of One. Is written by a good friend of mine out of Nashville. His name's Mickey Kelly. Mickey and I wrote a song on my albums called Shake the Room. We also co-wrote Show Me What Love Can Do on my album as well. And I look up to him as a songwriter. He's so incredible. And I actually encourage you to go and find him singing Party of One on YouTube, because he pitches it so well. It's incredible. But yeah, I'm happy for the corporate stuff to be picking back up in my business now, which will give me more time in the studio to create more stuff, because when I'm gigging 6 or 7 times a week, it's hard to kind of get in with my schedule. But yeah, that's like a little bit about me. That's a little bit about me.
Claire said this is her favorite show ever, and I agree. I just wish I didn't have to see myself on the camera. And then Rodney just asked, when are you going to release your follow-up album to piece together?
Oh, well,
Rodney.
Well, we're gonna approach it a little bit different. I'm not gonna do an album probably for a couple years. We're gonna do a series of singles, and for the intention of throwing things against the wall and see what sticks. As a drummer growing up, I studied so many different genres. So in my writing style, a lot of those genres come out, and it's hard to incorporate everything that influences me into one song. So, and that's why when you hear Piece Together, there's so many different things. There's funk, there's pop, there's country, there's rock, there's alternative, there's rap in there. Like there's a lot of cool things in there. So this song, we decided to go like kind of like country is cornbread kind of thing. Like it's got fiddle on it, but Yeah. Do you want to introduce it, or you want me to introduce it?
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, no, I think we've pretty much introduced it. So this was off of the very first episode that we did here at the warehouse on season 2. And I want to say it's not our first episode here because we
No.
did do an episode of one of our previous shows with the full band with Rodney and
That's right.
and yeah, actually we had Evans McGill out from that from Reggie's band.
That's right.
But this was the first like official episode of On the Real live sessions at Warehouse Live with Matt Buck and folks. And so here we go. It's a Party of One.
I'm going to show you guys a song that I just went in to the studio with some geniuses here in Columbia. Get a nice shout out to my friends Antonio McKee on keys and Rodney Foster Jr. on bass guitar, and then Mr. Roderick Johnson on the drums, and then also Jim Graddock on the fiddle. This song is called Party of One. We're going to be releasing it here in the next month or so. So make sure you be on the lookout for that. Once again, this is called Party of One. We got reservations here tonight, but tonight's gonna be the night I laid my heart on the line. But as you can plainly see, it's just you and me and memories. So hit me in the back if you don't mind. It's a party of one, heartache for two, a bottle of red to go with the blues. We made some plans, they've come undone. Turn out the lights, bring on the night. It's a party of one. We were gonna work it out here tonight, rectify the wrongs and figure out what was right. But it must have been too hard to deal with the pain and let down her guard. So I'll just sit here with my tears in candlelight, in my party of one, heartache for two, a bottle of red to go with the blues. We made some plans, they've come undone. So turn out the lights, bring on the night. It's a party of one. These things I'm feeling
night. It's a party of one. Turn out the lights, ring on the night. It's a party of one. Turn out the lights, ring on the night. It's a party of one.
Well, make sure you comment, you like, you share. I can't see what you guys are commenting right now, but I got my good friend. Man, that's like watching an old me. Wait, it is an old me.
Well, I mean, not that much older. It's like 2 months ago. You did have a beard.
I did
then.
have a beard then. Yeah, I
you
did have a beard. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, your hair grew back out longer than that video, but you're back to where it was basically in that video too, because I know you trimmed it not too long ago.
And we don't have much more time on this show, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into this next artist, and it's going to be our final clip of the evening. This was the show preceding the
Right after this one.
right
it was,
after this.
episode 2 with Chris Compton, man. Just another absolutely incredible singer-songwriter, and like he definitely like coming in, after your show, he set the bar for all the other singer-songwriters that we're going to have on, which, he's in great company. I mean, all of them, Brandon and Jeff and all the folks, Ryan and the Dubber, like these guys have been amazing. Super excited about all the other shows that we have coming up. Like we have some full band shows coming up for you guys this month.
It's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. Make sure you tune in, y'all. And we do this every Monday, 8 to 9. Not the talk show, but we have live artists. So we're going to jump right into this clip. This song is Angels Arrive by Chris Compton. Technical difficulties. It's all right. We got this.
Could be the famine of the devil or the feast of the Lord. You seem to find a way to survive, slipping out of trouble since the day you were born. Lucky to be alive. Coffee in the morning and your spirits at night. You drink a little deeper till the cup runs dry. But there's nothing sweeter than a kiss when the angels arrive. The angels arrive right on time. The angels arrive right on time. Seems so strange to say goodbye when the angels arrive right on time. Like a sparrow in the basement, you're locked in a room. You kill yourself trying to get out, pushing through the pavement like a flower in bloom. You always find a way around. You're wanna be thankful for your time on earth. Sooner or later you'll be sleeping in the dirt. There's nothing sweeter than a kiss when the angels arrive. The angels arrive right on time. The angels arrive right on time. Seems so strange to say goodbye when the angels arrive right on time, right on time. You had a good life on the bright side, and let it go. You had a good time, and it's alright to let it go. The angels arrive right on time. The angels arrive right on time. Seems so strange to say goodbye. The angels arrive right on time, right on time.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. That was a song I wrote. I guess these are all going to be songs I wrote.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Angels Arrive by Chris Compton. We're going to sign off here, but thanks so much for tuning in with us tonight. And, give a shout out to Coburn's Exclusive out of Nashville, Tennessee, and all of our Patreons that support us on a monthly basis. Thank you so much. Make sure you go to patreon.com/onthemarkstudio. You can support us for as little as $5 a month. Anything helps, and we appreciate you. What do you got to say, Greg?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And don't forget, also go to our YouTube channel if you're not already there. If you're there, you're doing a great job, and we appreciate it and we love you. Keith Bates, I know you guys have been tuning in and everything like that, so we appreciate it. Get a shout out to at least one of our subscribers and everything like that. But go to our YouTube channel. It's On the Mark Studio. Facebook, On the Mark Studio. It's really easy. Instagram, On the Mark Studio. So if you search On the Mark Studio, you're gonna find us, and you're gonna find these streams and these events and everything like that. Just even beyond this show, make sure you're going to all of these artists. Find them, follow them. We'll have after this is over, we'll have all the links to these full videos in the description here on Facebook and on YouTube and all that stuff, so you guys can get to them as well. And just go like and follow these artists, because it doesn't cost you a dime to hit the like and hit subscribe and follow these musicians and listen to them and show your support. Especially if you're enjoying it, just get out there and just and like it. As we're coming back into the real world, get out there and support those local musicians. Go see the shows. Go to the events. These guys they're playing all over the place. They got shows coming up. Go show your love. Go show your support. Buy their merch. Buy their CDs if you can. But if not, man, just let people know and share the information and share the music and help keep music alive.
Well, and then next week we have Stankface coming on, so make sure you tune in every single Monday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Thanks so much, everybody, and thank you for joining us tonight. If you're just now joining us, make sure once this stream ends, give about 5 minutes and go back and watch from the beginning. We highlighted some incredible artists that have been on the show. Thank you so much for your support and love. We love you guys. Have a good night.
Love you, Claire.